Hello there. I'm Evelyn May Parker, and at 103 years old, I've watched more than a century of life flow by. When we're in our 20s, we usually make a terrible mistake. We confuse a quiet room with a lonely heart. We look at an empty house and see an ending, assuming that without a bustling crowd or a busy calendar, life must be painfully hollow. But let me tell you a secret from this side of 100. A quiet house isn't a dead one. It is a sanctuary of pure freedom. I remember my younger years sometimes feeling completely isolated in rooms packed with people because my soul was starved for real connection. Aging doesn't steal your life away. It simply strips off the loud, unnecessary layers to reveal what truly matters. So, let's stop fearing the setting sun. Getting older is a profound privilege, a beautiful, quiet chance to slow down, breathe deeply, and finally meet your most authentic self. The first thing we need to talk about is your body, the temple that houses your spirit. At 103, I can assure you that my machinery doesn't run quite like it used to, and that is perfectly fine. I don't expect perfection from it anymore, but I absolutely refuse to neglect it. When you're young, you might think power means having a heavy wallet, a fancy job title, or a wide circle of influence. But let me tell you, when you reach the twilight of your life, the true definition of power changes. Real power is simply being able to swing your legs out of bed in the morning on your own terms. The true foundation of your freedom isn't built on grand lifetime achievements. It's built on the quiet dignity of being able to boil your own water, pour your own cup of tea, and button your own sweater without having to ask for help. You don't need to punish your body with grueling workouts to stay capable. Instead, treat it like an old, faithful friend who has bravely carried you through decades of joy and sorrow. Listen to its daily aches and complaints with patience, not frustration. Walk a little, stretch those stiff joints, and keep moving gently. When you maintain that basic everyday strength, you minimize how much you have to lean on others. There is a profound, quiet pride in knowing you still hold the reins of your daily routine. Taking care of your physical self at this age isn't about vanity. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. Let's talk about the second piece of this puzzle, which is your finances. Now, at my age, you realize very quickly that wealth is no longer about keeping up appearances. When we are younger, we often use money to build our identity, striving for bigger houses or fancier cars. But in your twilight years, money is not meant for showing off to neighbors or buying luxury goods that just gather dust. Its purpose completely shifts. It transforms from a tool of social status into a quiet, reliable shield that protects your inner peace. What you truly need isn't a vast fortune. It is the steady, predictable comfort of a small pension or reliable savings. That modest but consistent income is worth infinitely more than the anxiety of chasing risky investments or relying on others. I have seen the way financial worry can eat away at a person's soul. It is one of the most destructive and exhausting forces for an aging mind. When you are terrified about how you will pay for your groceries next week, or how you will afford a sudden doctor's visit, that fear constantly hums in the background, eroding your spirit day by day. But when you secure that basic peace of mind, something beautiful happens. The wrinkles of worry on your forehead begin to soften. You sleep soundly through the night instead of staring at the ceiling calculating pennies. Financial independence at this stage of life allows you to maintain your dignity. It means you keep your voice, your choices, and your autonomy. You don't become a burden to your children, and you don't have to ask for permission to live your own life. When you are finally free from the crushing panic of surviving tomorrow, you can actually sit down and fully enjoy today. You can comfortably sip your tea, watch the golden afternoon light stretch across your living room floor, and just exist in the present moment without a care. That, my friend, is true wealth. The third thing we must discuss is the gentle waltz of time and how we manage it. When you finally retire and step away from the relentless demands of a career, you might think the ultimate reward is having absolutely nothing to do. But endless, unstructured time can actually become quite frightening. Without a schedule, time turns into a vast, featureless ocean where it is incredibly easy to feel adrift. If you surrender to complete idleness, sleeping late every morning, eating at odd hours, letting days blur entirely into nights, you will soon find yourself drowning in a heavy, unexplained melancholy. To survive and thrive in old age, you have to build yourself a quiet anchor. You need to establish a simple, dependable daily rhythm. This doesn't mean creating a stressful checklist. It means waking up at the same hour, tending to your garden, making your bed, and setting a specific time to rest. There is an immense, comforting safety in these gentle repetitions. They do not cause boredom. Rather, they wrap around you like a familiar, warm blanket, soothing the anxieties of an unpredictable world. You begin to ritualize your ordinary life. Washing the dishes or preparing a modest afternoon meal stops being a chore and transforms into a quiet, grounding meditation. This steady rhythm does more than just organize your clock. It stabilizes your fragile emotions. When your days have a clear structure, your feelings are less likely to drift off into dark, chaotic waters. You become the master of your own space and time. Instead of merely killing time with mindless distractions, you are filling your hours with a deliberate, conscious presence. You learn to move through your day with a graceful purpose, honoring the time you have been given rather than letting it slip through your fingers unnoticed. Creating this gentle waltz of time ensures that you are still actively participating in your own life, keeping your spirit anchored, grounded, and peacefully resilient. Now, even the most beautifully structured routine will feel incredibly hollow if it lacks one vital ingredient, a gentle whisper calling you to wake up. As we reach the autumn of our lives, our mission shifts. We no longer need to change the world, conquer our industries, or seek the roaring applause of society. All you truly need is one small, precious reason that fits right in the palm of your hand. The strongest force that keeps a human spirit alive is the simple feeling of anticipation. It is the quiet joy of knowing that something, no matter how small, is waiting for you today. This reason doesn't have to be grand or impressive to anyone else. It could be the gentle responsibility of watering a fragile orchid that is just about to bloom. It could be a hungry cat waiting patiently by the back door for its morning meal. It could even be the youthful thrill of sitting down to watch the explosive climax of an action movie you've been following, letting the adrenaline and excitement remind you of how vibrant life still is. The most dangerous thing in old age is the creeping emptiness of waking up and thinking, "Nothing in this world needs me today." That kind of thought is a heavy fog that can quickly suffocate your spirit. You must fight against it by actively creating your own tiny focal points. Do not wait passively for someone else to deliver joy to your doorstep. Take charge and plant your own seeds of purpose. Whether it is finishing a puzzle, reading the next chapter of a thrilling novel, or baking a loaf of bread, these small, deliberate goals form a quiet, sacred agreement between you and the new day. They give you a reason to throw off the covers and step into the morning light with a smile, proving that your story is still being wonderfully written. As we move further along, we must talk about the people we share our time with. When you live as long as I have, you have to make peace with the fact that your social circle will naturally shrink. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, and the wide network you once had gradually fades. You have to view this not as a tragic loss, but as a natural sifting process, like sifting pure gold from river sand. You quickly learn that quality always triumphs over quantity. You absolutely do not need a crowded room to validate your existence. What you need is just one genuine soul who understands the weight of your silence, someone you can sit with for hours without feeling the exhausting need to entertain. Furthermore, as you age, you finally gain the courage to firmly reject toxic, draining relationships. You no longer have the energy or the patience for superficial drama that only serves to deplete your spirit. Instead, you start finding profound beauty in small, invisible connections. A warm smile shared with the local postman, a polite nod to the cashier at the grocery store, or a brief chat with a neighbor over the fence. These fleeting moments remind you that you are still a thread in the beautiful fabric of humanity. You also learn to find peace with those who have passed on, holding their memories gently in your heart without being consumed by paralyzing grief. But most importantly, you must become your own best friend. You must learn to forgive your past mistakes, show grace to your younger self, and be comfortable in your own aging skin. You no longer have to wear a mask or bend over backwards to please society. When you are fully authentic and fiercely loyal to your own heart, you will never truly feel abandoned, no matter how quiet the room around you eventually gets. The sixth piece of this puzzle is perhaps the most profound: learning to find a true, unwavering sanctuary within the silence. There is a massive difference between feeling painfully abandoned and deeply enjoying the luxury of your own private space. For many people, being alone is terrifying. They constantly run from their own minds, keeping the television or the radio blaring in the background just to fill the quiet voids in their homes. But to age beautifully, you must stop running. You have to cultivate the bravery to sit alone with your thoughts and truly listen. When you stop fighting your own mind, you learn to observe your lingering regrets, past anxieties, and lingering fears, just like dark clouds passing by an open window. You simply watch them drift across the sky of your mind without judging them, and more importantly, without clinging to them. When your heart is no longer churning with turbulent emotions, silence completely transforms. It stops being a frightening, suffocating vacuum and becomes a vast, protective shelter that cradles your weary soul. You discover a deep sense of self-sufficiency. You realize that feeling whole and complete doesn't depend on the weather outside, the latest news, or the presence of any other human being. You are entirely enough just as you are. This quiet space is where the deepest healing happens. You use the solitude to gently soothe the old, hidden wounds that life inevitably leaves behind. Instead of dwelling on what you have lost, you start to uncover the absolute magic of the present moment. You find overwhelming joy in simply taking a deep, unhurried breath. You notice the delicate way a beam of golden sunlight stretches across your front porch. You stop measuring your life by accomplishments and start measuring it by peace, allowing the stillness to become your greatest, most comforting companion in your twilight years. Finally, we reach the beautiful crescendo of aging, keeping your heart wide open. While your body may bear the wrinkles of time, your spirit doesn't have to age a single day. Stay fiercely eager to learn. Even if your legs can no longer travel the globe, your mind can still endlessly explore new territories, adventuring into unknown worlds through books, documentaries, and stories. Face the reality of your fading years with a strong, deeply positive spirit that remains completely in love with life. When your own cup is overflowing with peace, you will naturally want to pour it out for others. Offer a helping hand whenever you can, whether it's sharing a lifetime of hard-earned wisdom with a younger generation or simply showing unconditional love and grace to a passing stranger. Let your presence be like a massive, ancient oak tree, asking for nothing, yet providing cool, comforting shade to anyone who walks by. In the end, growing old is not about turning to ash. It is about burning brightly, glowing with a profound, loving light that quietly warms the world before you finally return to the stars.